Okay, in this video we're going to be talking about skills 8 and 9 in our Excel chapter 3. We're going to be talking more about our worksheets. So we see here in this workbook we have July, August, and September. And in your homework you'll have basically the same thing. And keeping in mind that somebody else created this workbook, right? So what you don't realize is that there are actually more sheets that are hidden. And the way that you can access those is by right-clicking on any of the sheet tabs, really. I'm going to right-click here on September, and I'll see the option of Unhide. And I can see that there's actually 3 hidden sheets, okay? Sadly, you can't do all of them. You have to do each one individually. So I'm going to say 4th quarter and click OK, and then I'll see that it opens it up here. And then again, I have to right-click and unhide and do the same thing with 2016. And now you see 4th quarter is not on the list anymore because it's not hidden. And I'm going to continue and do the same thing, unhide, and then 2017 and pick OK. So now you can see that all of the sheets are visible, right? And when you get lots and lots of sheets, sometimes you have to use these tab selector buttons down here to navigate your way from sheet to sheet to sheet. So basically it would just allow you to kind of scroll over and see more sheets if they weren't showing in this window. That's actually something you're going to need to know in your multiple choice test. So they're called tab selector buttons. Okay. So what we're going to do here is, now that I've unhidden 2016 and 2017, okay, I've actually decided that I don't need them, that they're old and I don't need them. So I'm going to delete them. So I'm going to right-click on the 2016 sheet, and I'm simply going to go to delete, and that's going to say permanently delete it, and I say yes, that's what I want to do. And then I'm going to do the same thing for 2017. I'm going to delete that one as well, okay? So now they're no longer available. All right, so we're going to create a new sheet here. We know that the way to create a new sheet is simply by clicking on that little plus button, and then I'm going to rename this, and I'm going to call this the summary sheet. Now, previously in Excel, all of our formulas, all of our functions have been sort of what I would call one-dimensional. They're all within the one sheet, right? So when we do a sum function, for example, it's summing through here. But what's really cool about Excel is that you actually have the ability to do what I would call sort of a three-dimensional summing. Or you could grab any cell from anywhere. Okay, so for example, on our summary sheet, if I wanted to, on my summary sheet, I'm actually going to pull data from July, August, and September into this summary sheet. So that's the direction that we're heading in now. So I'm going to go up here, and actually a lot of what I'm going to be doing right now is things that you already know how to do. For example, I'm going to say for my summary, this is going to be my 3rd quarter parking income. Okay, and I need to type more data in my range here of A4 through F4. So I'm not going to have you watch this part. I'm just going to pause the video and come back. Okay, so I'm back. I've typed in these different labels, right? And I've typed July. I actually typed in July and then filled down August and September. Okay, but now what I want to do is I want to go over to my September sheet. And I actually want to grab the nags head here from here and copy it into my summary sheet. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to click copy. I'm going to go over to my summary sheet. I'm going to click here in cell A1, and I'm going to do a paste. Okay, and that pastes it in for me. And now I'm going to go back to and you notice when it pasted it in, right, it actually kept the merged cells as well, right? So it pasted it in exactly like that. So now I'm going to go back to my September sheet. And now what I want to do is notice that for my summary, right, I have 3rd quarter parking income. I actually typed that word wrong. Let's see, fix that on here. Okay. And I have my headers, right? But in September, notice how these are formatted, right? So this area here is formatted, and I want to format my summary sheet the exact same way that this is formatted. And I know we've learned about Format Painter, but I'm going to show you another way that you can do this. If you click on copy, right? Now, typically you're thinking, well, you want to copy all the data that's in these cells. But actually what we're going to do is we're just going to copy the format applied to these cells. So now I'm going to go over to the summary sheet. I'm going to click up here in cell A2 because it's going to fill from there. And instead of clicking the top half of the paste button, I'm going to click the bottom half of the paste button. Okay. And I want you to notice that there is this other paste option, which is formatting, which means it's not going to paste the actual data. It's just going to paste the formatting. Okay, so when I do that now, in my summary sheet, this has been formatted, and each of these have also been formatted, which is kind of nice, right? Because you didn't have to figure out how that was formatted before. All right, so now I do want to auto fit these. So let's see, because this one looks a little weird. I actually don't like it. I'm going to do it that way. Yep. I obviously have trouble typing or spelling. Okay. All right, so that's all fine. Now, in addition, I want to make sure, my fourth quarter, I'm going to grab this too. See this shape here, right? So interestingly enough, this shape is just sort of floating on top of my worksheet. I want to copy and paste this into my summary sheet. So I can click on that, pick copy, go to my summary sheet, and it doesn't really matter where you're clicked because it's just kind of floating on top of your cells, okay? So I'm going to paste this in and move it here between like C14 and C, there we go, F17. Okay, so now I actually don't need my fourth quarter sheet because that's all I wanted it for, was just to grab that information. So I'm going to re-hide this. I'm going to click on it and pick hide, okay? So I have July, August, September, and summary, but I actually want my summary sheet to be to the left of my July sheet. So what I can do is just hold down on it, right? And you see that little triangle there between September, and if I drag it, that would drop it between August and September, but I actually want it before July. So I'm going to drop it until that black triangle is before July. And now my summary sheet is in front of the July, August, and September. Okay, so I've actually decided that what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do skill 9 in its own video. I think that's probably the better way to do this, so I break it up a little bit more. So when we come back, what we'll be doing is grabbing the contents from the July, August, and September and feeding them into each of these columns, okay? So we'll see you in the next video.